Air Warfare. Zeppelins. Zeppelins were rigid airships that were used for various purposes, including passenger transport, reconnaissance and bombing during World War I. These large and distinctive aircraft, named after the German pioneer of airships, Count Ferdinand von Zeppelin, played a significant role in early aviation and military operations. Zeppelins had a rigid metal framework covered with fabric and filled with hydrogen gas to provide lift. The structure of the Zeppelin allowed for greater stability and control compared to non-rigid airships, making them suitable for long-distance flights and military operations. Prior to World War I, Zeppelins were used for civilian passenger transport, offering luxurious and comfortable air travel for passengers. Zeppelin airships conducted commercial flights and made transatlantic journeys, demonstrating the potential of air travel for long-distance transportation. During World War I, Zeppelins were adopted for military use by various countries, including Germany and the United Kingdom. German Zeppelins were used for reconnaissance missions, naval patrols and strategic bombing raids on enemy targets, including city industrial centres. The bombing raids conducted by German Zeppelins, such as the infamous Zeppelin raids on London and the British cities, caused civilian casualties and damage to infrastructure. Zeppelins had the advantage of long-range capabilities and the ability to operate at high altitudes, making them effective for reconnaissance bombing missions. However, they were vulnerable to anti-aircraft fire, incendiary ammunition and adverse weather conditions which posed risks to their operations. The use of Zeppelins declined after World War I due to advancements in aviation technology, the development of more efficient aircraft and safety concerns associated with hydrogen-fueled airships. The era of Zeppelins paved the way for the development of modern air travel and aviation technology. Bomb attacks. Bomb attacks during World War I were a significant aspect of the conflict, as both military forces and civilian populations were subjected to aerial bombing raids and artillery bombardments. Aerial bombing played a prominent role in World War I as aircraft were used to conduct bombing raids on enemy targets, including military installations, supply lines and civilian centres. Both fixed-wing aircraft and airships such as Zeppelins were used to drop bombs on enemy territories. Strategic bombing. Strategic bombing aimed to disrupt enemy infrastructure, demoralise civilian populations and weaken the enemy's war effort. Bombing raids targeted cities, industries, industrial centres and transportation networks to inflict damage and disrupt enemy operations. The use of bomb attacks in World War I marked a shift in the nature of warfare, with increased reliance on aerial bombing and artillery bombardments to achieve military objectives. The devastation caused by bomb attacks influenced the development of international laws and conventions regarding the conduct of war. Aircraft. Aircraft played a significant role in World War I, marking the first major military conflict where aviation technology was used in combat on a large scale. During the war, aircraft evolved from simple reconnaissance and observation platforms to versatile weapons of war, influencing tactics, strategies, and the course of the conflict. At the outbreak of World War I in 1914, aircraft were still in their infancy, with limited capacities and primarily used for reconnaissance missions. Both sides in the conflict quickly recognised the potential of aircraft for gathering intelligence, spotting enemy positions, and directing artillery fire. Aircraft in World War I served multiple roles, including spying, observing, bombing, and air-to-air combat. Reconnaissance planes such as the British Royal Aircraft Factory BE-2 and the German Albatros CI were used to gather information about enemy movements and positions. One of the most iconic aspects of aviation in World War One was the emergence of aerial combat or dogfights between enemy aircraft. Pilots engaged in intense battles in the skies, manoeuvring their planes to outmaneuver and shoot down enemy aircraft. The development of aircraft technology accelerated during World War One, leading to advancements in aerodynamics, engine power, weaponry, and aircraft design. Planes were equipped with machine guns, bombs, and armaments to engage enemy targets effectively. Aircraft was used for strategic bombing missions, targeting enemy infrastructure, supply lines, troop concentrations. Bombing raids conducted by aircraft such as the Gotha bombers used by Germany and Handler Page bombers used by Britain inflicted damage on enemy targets and influenced the course of the war. Aircraft allow for military commanders to obtain real-time information about enemy movements, fortification and defences. Aerial photography and observation missions helped in planning offences and coordinating ground operations. The experience of aerial combat in World War I led to the development of new aviation tactics and strategies. Pilots learned to use altitude, speed and manoeuvrability to their advantage in dogfights, leading to the establishment of aerial combat tactics and principles that would influence air warfare in future conflicts. The use of aircraft in World War I had a significant impact on the outcome of the conflict. Aviation technology changed the nature of warfare, expanding the battlefield into the skies and introducing new dimensions of combat. Aircraft contributed to the effectiveness of military operations, reconnaissance efforts and logistical support during the war. Air battles. Air battles in World War I, often referred to as dogfights, were intense aerial combat engagements between enemy aircraft that took place in the skies above the battlefields of Europe. These air battles were a defining feature of the war and marked the first large-scale use of airplanes in combat. Air battles in World War I were characterised by dogfights, which involved manoeuvring and engaging enemy aircraft in aerial combat. Pilots used a combination of speed, altitude and tactics to outmaneuver their opponents. To gain a tactical advantage, dogfights often involve close-range shooting with machine guns mounted on the aircraft. The development of dedicated fighter aircraft played a crucial role in air battles during World War I. Fighter planes were specifically designed for air-to-air combat and featured improved speed, manoeuvrability and armament. The intense nature of air battles in World War I produced a new breed of military heroes known as flying aces. These skilled pilots, such as Manfred von Richthofen, the Red Baron, Eddie Rickenbacker and Albert Bull, achieved fame for their aerial victories and combat prowess. Aces were credited with shooting down multiple enemy aircraft and became symbols of courage and skill. Air battles in World War I led to a development of new aerial combat tactics and strategies. Pilots experimented with tactics such as the Emelian turn, the split S manoeuvre, and coordinated attacks to outmaneuver and defeat enemy aircraft. These tactics influenced the evolution of aerial warfare in later conflicts. Pilots faced numerous challenges and dangers during air battles in World War I, including enemy fire, mechanical failures, adverse weather conditions, and the risk of being shot down or captured. The aerial environment was unforgiving, and pilots had to demonstrate skill, courage, and quick thinking to survive and succeed in combat. Aerial victories and losses could influence morale, tactical decisions and the outcome of battles on the ground.